超がっかり。あいつ口だけなんだもん。
アギレラ様、スマイル。
Hello and welcome once again to my weekly review of Kamen Rider Revice. This time it is episode 9 and boy is it a doozy. So we finally get a follow-up to what was going on in the last episode. I was concerned whether or not they were going to actually end up I guess brushing aside everything that happened at last episode, or if they were going to just go and steamroll right in because of my concerns with how fast they seem to be advancing this plot. However, you know, they are just completely going all in and advancing this plot. With that being said, let's just move into a little bit of the recap of what happened with this episode. So, distraught with the revelation that Daiji is Kamen Rider Evil, Vice chimes in with the suggestion that Daiji simply has a demon inside of him just like Iki does. While Iki and the family have to deal with the negativity of it all, this is where the mom's time to shine really comes in, and she forces on her positive energy just for them to just have the mentality that, you know, it could get better from here. Now, this is where the episode splits into its A plot and its B plot, which we do have for this week as opposed to last week. However, the A plot plays more into the B plot somewhat. So, let's break into that portion now. Ortega tasks Kagero with finding sacrifices for their master Gifu. This is where we are taken to Toku Cameo Central, led by the guy that played Maji Yellow in Mahou Sentai Maji Ranger, and Beatbuster from Go Busters. That girl from, I guess, Kira Manger? I haven't seen that one yet. As well as Spada from Q Ranger. What happened to this man? Okay, so these are a bunch of scammers who Kagero just proceeds to beat the shit out of. And he really slept the mess out of that girl. Holy shit. What the fuck was that? I had to pause when I watched that and just laugh. Because I did not see that shit coming. It was... oh my god. Just thinking about it right now, oh my god. That was hilarious. Anyway, he gives Maji Yellow a dose of his Beatbuster. I mean... of his Brachio Vice stamp, and he starts terrorizing civilians because reasons. Monster of the Week trope, it doesn't matter. Vice is the one that ends up taking on the Brachio Deadman's #NiceVice. However, this ends up leading nowhere because in a whole nother fight, he gets snatched away, and Kagero just continues to bitchify the group. I guess he's trying to be an anti-hero, so we'll see how this plays out, if it even leads anywhere. But he ends up turning all three of them into Deadmans, and that is the A plot. Let's cycle over to the B plot. Iki confronts the professor regarding Evil's identity, which he states he did not know who he was, but admits to giving him the driver. He gives Iki the task of eliminating Kamen Rider Evil using a new toy that I will touch on later, but that's when Hiromi chimes in, trying to go ahead and take that responsibility for himself. But later on, the professor does give Iki footage of that glorious Kagero smackdown, or as I call it, the beat bust off. That's when Sakura shows up with the protective family front. She does bring up a point that Vice kind of touched on a little bit earlier, and that's how did someone like Iki end up being possessed by a demon to begin with? Same thing with Daiji. However, this is when Vice goes ahead and kind of says, maybe you have a demon inside you as well. Which, if that's not foreshadowing, I don't know what is. Daiji ends up confronting Kagero and asking him where he comes from, which Kagero just admits that he's been with him since he was a boy, and he was pretty much raised on his jealousy for Iki, going as far back as to when they were children to most recently when he just admitted defeat that Iki turned out being a better writer than he ever hoped to be. That ended up being his trigger point. There is some family exposition led right after this. However, it leads to a flashback to when Daiji was a little boy and Iki finds him when he goes missing. However, I feel that this is too much of a setup to not get a payoff, most likely next episode given the flashbacks, in showing the true origin for Kagero and possibly even Vice and how, this family could possibly be possessed by these demons. So we might get some good exposition on that point as well. Now, moving on to the gear. Iki's red and white pants. Have y'all seen these? Have y'all seen these things? Like, these are some fire looking pants. I want these more than the deluxe Demon's Driver. Like, put out, like Bandai, Premium Bandai, put out Iki's pants. I will buy them, size 32. 32 or 33 men's. Yes. I'll buy that right now. Like, list me a price. $80 is my max. You go more than that? No. But yeah, I want those. The Mantis genome is the featured Vice stamp of this episode. It's used to give us the orange arms himself. It's a Gaim motif. And overall, I like this form. It's aesthetically pleasing, but then again, Gaim himself, that was a really good form. So you can't knock it for, being a good form. The Buddy Up Mantis, however, yeah, can this show's CG budget just leave? Because all of these Buddy Ups just look bad. I haven't even seen any of the toys regarding any of the Buddy Up forms. Is there even any toys for these forms? Because yeah, it's bad. I don't know how you make this work, but I know they're gonna find a way. It's gonna be their gimmick to just find some more toys. Who likes these forms? You gotta let me know. Do you like these Buddy Ups? Because I don't like these Buddy Ups. I just don't like them at all. Demons gets a new power up, the Vol Vice stamp, which Gino mixes and gives him a nice arm attachment that is based off of the Showa era Kamen Rider Amazon, which is honestly one of my favorite Showa era Kamen Rider series. It's so good. And the fact that it was a mole Vice stamp is a great homage to the mole character from that series, which, was another homage done in the remake that was in Kamen Rider Amazons, which you can find right now on Amazon Prime Video. Definitely not a sponsor, because I have no sponsors. Oh yeah, and Evil Jackal is back. This episode ends in a cliffhanger of a rider kick to Evil's chest. The A plot remains unsolved, and the B plot still left in the air. This episode had a lot riding on it. Given how great the last episode was, we did get more answers and a lot of great action. Some development for Sakura as a character, and the parents just being wholesome. Now that I've become a little bit more transparent to the community that exists on Twitter regarding tokusatsu and all that, I am well aware of the leaks that have been posted up online for next week's new writer debut. However, we'll address that when that writer actually debuts on that episode. I don't want to get into leak conversations in an episode review. I'm trying to judge the episode for not things that I know of in the future, but just as this standalone episode. So please understand that when I'm making my reviews. However, with this episode being a potential two-parter, that's great, because Daiji's character arc won't be as rushed as I feared, but we are still in episode 9. And if the whole Kagero plotline gets solved already, look, this could easily cause some narrative issues in the future, and I will say that that's just going to be a massive disappointment if they just go ahead and shelve off Kagero and just say, he's not going to appear again, or, he's on the back burner and there's a 99.9% chance that he's not going to come back after this. His belt is called essentially the two-side driver. That's why it says eeny, meeny, miny, mo. But that's going off of, what that's going on. But for this episode was a fantastic episode by itself. Not as great as the last one. And I don't do pluses, so this episode is just going to get a solid build B from me. But what do you think of this week's Revice episode? Let me know in the comments below. I honestly love engaging with the conversations that we have regarding this series in the comments. Makes the week so much better and leads the drive up until next week's release just that much more of a hype train. So let's continue this train, see where it goes. Hopefully it does not fizzle out too early. And well, I guess until next time, nice Vice. Hashtag nice Vice. Whatever. Nice Vice. Hashtag. It's gonna be in the title of this episode. You know what? That's it. Nice Vice. Nice Vice. Nice Vice.